So let me ask you a question. What would you do if the medicine that was supposed to save your life actually felt like it was destroying it? Well, today we're diving into the incredible story of an 81-year-old man who found himself in that exact spot after a stroke. And, he chose a path that went completely against his doctor's orders. I am 81 years old. Those are the first words from the man whose story we're unpacking today. He decided to share his very personal health journey because he hoped it might help someone else understand the really, really tough choice he had to make. So, let's get into it. Section 1. The crisis. His story doesn't start with a choice. It starts with a sudden, life-changing medical emergency that left him staring down an impossible dilemma. It all kicked off one morning with a stroke that landed him right in the hospital. But the real crisis, the thing we're really talking about today, that began when he got home. That's when he was forced to make a decision that would change everything about his recovery. Okay, so he's discharged after 7 days. But going home wasn't the end of it. He was handed what he calls a terrifyingly big bag of pills. And just the sheer amount of medication felt completely overwhelming right from the get-go. So he gave it a shot. He took the prescribed medication for about half a month, but the side effects, they were rough. He says the pills left him feeling totally wiped out. No energy, no spirit. He felt like he was, in his words, about to collapse. Just a completely miserable experience. This right here, this really captures the fork in the road he was facing. On one side, you've got the path of conventional medicine, the stuff his doctors prescribed. On the other side, well, that was a total unknown. Feeling drained and just completely spiritless, he made a pretty radical choice. He just stopped taking the pills and decided to create his own path to recovery. So, Section 2, the turning point. Faced with those awful side effects, he makes this huge decision. He stops the hospital's medication cold turkey and starts a high-dose regimen that he designed himself. So what did he do? He turned to a line of health products he was already familiar with, a brand called Atomy. But instead of the usual amounts he'd taken before, he started taking them in what he describes as large quantities. He basically put all his faith into this new high-dose strategy. And when he says large quantities, he is not kidding. Just look at the scale of his new daily routine. He says he was taking 6 packs of Hemohim, which is an herbal supplement mix, 6 natto pills, 3 cups of noni juice, plus ginseng and fish oil. It was this really intensive strategy he came up with. Now, it is so important to point out this is just one person's story, it's not verified, and changing a post-stroke medication plan without a doctor's supervision carries some really big risks. But it wasn't just about the supplements. He was supporting this new routine with other therapies too. He went out and got acupuncture and massages, and maybe most importantly, he committed to doing his own physical therapy every single day to get his strength back. All right, Section 3, the result. So after ditching his prescriptions for this high-dose, holistic regimen, what happened? Well, according to him, the turnaround was nothing short of remarkable. The recovery timeline he describes is just incredibly fast. He claims that after only 1 month, he was walking without a crutch. And get this, by the 3.5-month mark, he felt his energy and his spirit were totally restored. A huge difference from the crushing fatigue he felt on the hospital's meds. 3.5 months. That's the key number he keeps coming back to. The amount of time he says it took to feel fully recovered and to finally shake that awful fatigue. Today, he reports that he walks just fine and feels his spirit is right back to where it should be. So based on this personal turnaround, he became a total believer. He wraps up his testimony with this strong encouragement for people to share his story because he's absolutely convinced that these products played a huge role in his recovery. Okay, Section 4, the method. His recovery was so profound that it didn't just change his health, it gave him a whole new mission. Convinced of the power of these products, he came up with his own unique way of sharing his story. He lays out this really simple 4-step process. First, he says you have to be a product of the product. Use them yourself. Second, just let the changes in your own health do the talking. Third, just wait. He says people will eventually ask you what your secret is. And finally, when they do ask, don't try to explain it all yourself. Just invite them to a center where they can learn about it directly. And this really gets to the core of his whole don't sell philosophy. He thinks that trying to actively sell something or explain it all is just exhausting and honestly doesn't really work. Instead, he believes the most powerful tool you have is your own visible result. I mean, from his point of view, a personal transformation is a way better advertisement than any sales pitch you could ever give.
So, what do we take away from this incredible story? It's a really compelling account of personal determination and a deep, deep belief in an alternative path. And it leaves us with a pretty big question. Was his amazing turnaround driven by the products themselves, or was it the intensive physical therapy, or maybe the power of his own belief, or some combination of all three? It's just a powerful reminder of that complex link between medicine, mindset, and recovery.